Have you ever wondered where the saying "red ones go faster" came from? I have, but this video doesn't answer that question. What it will do, however, is show you how to paint your red ones really fast, as I show you how to paint red armour in next to no time. Let's get painting. The first thing we need to do is prime the model and create a gradient. So I've started off with Chaos Black Spray. I've then taken White Scar Spray and sprayed this from above in 45 degrees. So it's light on top and dark underneath. To get that bright red armour started, I'm going to take Baal Red contrast paint and paint this over all of the armour. Now I am trying to be careful around some areas, but it is hard when you're just putting it on quite quickly. So pop this on, take your time if you need to. I'm putting it on fairly thickly as well, and then taking away any areas where it's starting to pool, and this will have the effect of really benefiting from the gradient that you've got underneath from the prime, and also making sure that you've got a nice bright red base. We'll paint the black parts next, and I'm using two different black paints for this. The first one I'm going to use over any white areas that are going to be black is black Templar contrast paint. I use this over the gun casing and the chainsword casing because it automatically gives you that edge highlight without you having to do any more work to it. For all the other black parts, I'm going to use Black Legion contrast paint. Now this covers like opaque black paint. It's really good for covering things like the chest eagle here and also all the black ribbing on the armour, as well as any of the leather pouches and the holster. So take your time with this. You need to be careful. You don't want to get this on the areas that you've already finished. We'll base all of the silver metal parts next, and the colour I'm using for this is Leadbelcher. And in terms of what I'm looking to paint, I've got the vents on the backpack, I've got the chain blades on the chain blade, as well as the actual weapon itself on the heavy bolt pistol, and there may be some tubes around the model you want to paint as well. I'm also doing the Indomitus Crusade icon as well. Before we shade all of those metallic areas, we're going to paint the purity seals, and the colour I'm going to use for this is Ulthuan Grey. So just take a little bit on your brush and paint this over the paper of the purity seal. Nice and easy, and we'll shade it all together. I'll paint the eye sockets next, and the colour I'm using for this is Bold Titanium White from Pro Acryl. All I'm doing is making sure I've got a good point on my brush and just painting in these eye sockets. To paint the wax on the purity seal, we'll use Warp Lightning contrast paint, and we'll also use this for the green eye lenses. Just take your time and paint it over that wax, and also for those eye lenses, paint it in. Now if you do put too much on, just clean your brush and use it to suck up any excess paint. With all those bases done, we'll now shade it, and the colour I'm using for this is Nuln Oil. Now I'm using the new Nuln Oil, which has better flow properties into those recesses, but you can use the old version of Nuln Oil if that's what you've got, and also you can add some contrast medium to your Nuln Oil, and that should hopefully help as well. In terms of what I'm looking for, it's all those silver parts we painted, and the purity seal, and the wax as well. So there you have it, a perfectly good tabletop quality red armoured Space Marine in virtually no time at all. That looks good, but let's kick it on to the next level and really make it pop. The first thing we're going to do is take some Mechanicus Standard Grey. We can use this to highlight all of those black areas that aren't already highlighted from the contrast paint. So we're looking at those leather pouches. We're looking at the chest eagle on the front of the Marine as well. Just take your time with this and use the side of the brush where you can over sharp edges. We're just looking to catch the most raised parts to add interest and draw the eye. Next up, we'll add some definition on the armour plates, and we're going to use Nuln Oil for this. So all I'm looking to do is make sure I've got a good point on my brush, not too much Nuln Oil, and I'm just going to paint this into those recesses. And this will help add a little bit of shadow and really help accentuate those armour plates. And again, it's going to look great and really pop and stand out on the tabletop. To highlight all of the silver, the colour we'll use is Chrome from Vallejo Model Air. If you haven't got this, you can use Stormhose Silver from Citadel. And again, we're looking for those sharp edges, so we're just going to drag the side of the brush along them, making sure that we haven't got too much on the brush, and we'll get a really nice, crisp, shiny highlight for that silver. The last thing we want to do is highlight all of the Space Marine armour. So the colour we're going to use for this is Wild Rider Red. Now this is a nice orangey red. What we're looking to do is catch those raised areas and areas of panels that are going to catch the most light. So what I'm looking to do is use the side of the brush and catch any sharp edges, such as along the knee guards, along the top of the hands. There will be some places where you need to use the tip of the brush and a steady hand, but just work your way around this and pop those highlights where you think they'll be. Always start off with a little. It's always easy to go in and add more later. So there we go, I've based the model and added some Blood Angels decals, and this looks really fantastic for virtually no time at all. It'll really pop on the tabletop. A huge thank you to all my patrons who make this channel possible. You can also support me for just a small amount using the link in the description. I really hope you enjoyed the video. If you did, check out my other content for more speed painting and in-depth tutorials, and I'll see you next time.